Hello, we are back, and we're back with another tier list. So today we're covering vegetables, and I covered animal products last time, so only makes sense we go the other way now. And as a disclaimer, these are all good, okay? Some of these are going to be in D tier naturally because there has to be variation, but that doesn't mean they're bad for you. It's just the micronutrient density, it varies between all these vegetables, and there's other factors. You'll see. Let's get into it. So we're starting off here with broccoli, and like all things here, this has a lot of vitamin C and K, but one thing going for it is the thylakoid content. And if you don't know what this is, I don't blame you. It's a part of the chloroplast, which means it helps receive the light from the sun, and these things can actually activate what's called our GLP-1, which has a lot of benefits. I'm going to make a video on it, so stay tuned for that. But basically, it's going to help you with lipid management and all sorts of good stuff, blood glucose management, satiety, as well. The micronutrient profile for broccoli is just all around pretty good. So I'm going to put that in S tier. And, well, I'm reluctant to put that in S tier, but looking at everything else, I'm going to keep it there. The reason I'm reluctant, though, is because the next one here is spinach, and I am such a big fan of spinach. The thing is, it has everything I just said about broccoli, but even more, okay? The iron content is really high. It's got zinc in there too, vitamin A and C and K, I'm pretty sure. It's got everything you need. Additionally, it has ecdysterone, which I've spoken about before. It's a beta estrogen receptor agonist, which helps with muscle building and muscle recovery. It makes me want to put broccoli down, but broccoli is still really good. These two at the top are also very high in folate, which is not talked about enough. It's helpful for our nerves, and as well, if you're pregnant, you need folate, okay? It will prevent birth defects. Unfortunately, defects still happen despite all the modern knowledge that we have, but anyway, moving on. So next up, this kind of contrasts a bit, we have corn, and looking at the micronutrient profile of corn, there's really nothing special. I guess it has some fiber, but so does most things here, and I guess it's cheap and you can eat a lot of it, so, but yeah, I'm going to put that in D tier. Anyway, next up we have carrots. So carrots is a little bit similar as far as micronutrients go. It's not got anything massively stand out except for vitamin A, which is quite hard to get. It's not in all of these vegetables as opposed to vitamin C and K, which are actually in most of these. Everyone says vitamin A is good for your eyes, kind of. It's just good for overall organ health. So I'm going to put it in B tier just because the vitamin A content is so high. They're also cheap, and, you know, who doesn't really... I haven't heard of anyone who doesn't like carrots, so yeah, we'll put them there. So next up we have tomatoes, and before you say, oh, that's a fruit, you'll see bell peppers here too. Oh, it's a fruit. Okay, well, if your friend said, okay, go get some fruit for me at the store, would you bring them back tomatoes? No, okay, so don't stop it. And I know mushrooms aren't even a plant here, but these are things we treat as vegetables, we cook them as vegetables, so as far as practicality goes, I'm keeping them here. You disagree if you want, but this is my video, okay? So tomatoes, nothing stands out. It has some vitamin C, but again, so does everything else here. I think it's used more as like an ingredient, more of like a flavoring. But as far as nutrition goes, yeah, there's better options. Mushrooms are weird, okay? They, as I said, they're not actually a plant, they're a fungus. They have a weird profile. They have copper and selenium in high quantities, but not a similar profile to these other things. It's probably just because they're not a plant. Interestingly enough, they are mostly protein, but the thing is, there's not much micronutrient total in the whole thing. Oh, sorry, macronutrient total. So even if it was all protein, it still wouldn't be much as far as total grams. So basically it's low in energy, which might benefit you if you're trying to lose weight, but it's because I mean, selenium and copper, like, these aren't things people really run into deficiencies with. So I mean, I'll put it in C just because it's offering something different, whereas tomato and corn, not really, so I'll put it in C tier. Onion is a similar story to tomatoes. It's not really got a fantastic micronutrient profile, and additionally it's hard to eat a lot of. Like, you can't really fit a whole onion into a meal as opposed to some of the other things on here, so I'm going to put that in D tier as well. It's more so used as a flavoring. If you're going to make some sort of nice dish, you might want some onions and some garlic in there to flavor it up, But yeah, I'll leave it there for now. Next up, green beans. These have a bit more iron than some other things. It's nowhere near the content of spinach, but the issue is iron's not that high in bioavailability as far as plant sources go, but I guess it's better than nothing, particularly if you're vegetarian or vegan and you don't eat animal products. You kind of need a high iron diet to actually get enough because the absorption's just so low. But I guess for that we'll put it in D tier. It's okay. Okay, so my picture of peas didn't import properly, so I got another picture. So peas are actually pretty good. I'm gonna be happy now because I can finally put something in A tier. It was looking a bit empty. But the zinc and iron total is actually pretty good. I'm not gonna put it in S tier because it's not on par with spinach, but protein content is also decent. It's one of the higher vegetables for protein. It's also pretty cheap. I'm making a good argument here for S tier, but overall pretty good. I think it's actually the highest calorie vegetable on this list, but it's still pretty low because all vegetables are pretty low in calorie. But interestingly enough, peas and legumes, I didn't include legumes here like chickpeas or lentils. We don't really treat them as vegetables, but technically they are. But anyway, they're all nitrogen fixing, so they take nitrogen out of the air and put it into themselves, and protein has nitrogen in it, so these types of foods are generally higher in protein. That's the reasoning. But yeah, peas, good choice. Next up, pumpkin. So pumpkin is pretty much similar to carrots. It's cheap. It doesn't have crazy micronutrients. It's okay. But the thing is, it has that vitamin A, which can be hard to get elsewhere, so I'm going to put it just with carrot. Just, cheap, easy to eat, get that vitamin A in. Next up we have bell peppers. Now there's a bit of variety here. Usually the red ones have been on the vine longer than the green ones, which means they've absorbed more nutrients from the plant. So the red ones are generally better than the green ones. Green ones are still good. So as far as the micronutrient breakdown goes, it's decent in most of the areas, but the thing is it has really, really high vitamin C, and if you don't eat many fruits or vegetables, it might be hard to get vitamin C. So if you're just going to add one off of like a very processed diet, I guess, you might want to go with bell peppers just to make sure you're hitting them out with vitamin C. It's going to help with oxidative stress, which prevents inflammation, which is good for your overall health. I really like the green ones. I wish I liked the red ones more than the green ones because they're actually better. But anyway, cucumber. So cucumber is just mostly water. The micronutrient total isn't great. It has some vitamin K, but again, so does everything else here. The only really utility is maybe if you're trying to lose weight, it's going to fill you up for next to no calories. So I'm going to put that in D tier, and the reason is I'm setting up lettuce to go, ooh. I'm actually going to put spinach in B tier because it's like the lowest calorie vegetable you can have, which offers it some utility. And well, it depends on the variety of spinach a bit. Sorry, I keep saying spinach. Lettuce. There are a few varieties. I think like iceberg is quite low in micronutrients, but some of them are okay, actually. Some of them actually have a bit of iron. I'm actually going to put it in C tier. It's okay. The thing is, if you compare like per gram, the micronutrient total is high, but the issue is you can't really eat 100 grams of lettuce. Like, could you imagine how much that is as far as volume goes? So I guess that's the one thing holding it back, because I did standardize these based on grams and micronutrients, but I kind of have to bring lettuce down. Almost said spinach again. Lastly, potatoes. This is a hot topic because everyone loves potatoes, and I think one of the main things is the difference between no skin and with skin. Usually we treat potato as more of a carb source like rice, but the skin actually has a fair amount of zinc and iron, which is very helpful. You're not really getting too much as far as nutrition goes without the skin on it, so if you are making some, I really recommend keeping the skin. For that reason, I'll put it in B tier, just because, who doesn't like potatoes, and they're pretty good if you keep the skin on. If you keep the skin off, I'd probably put it a lot lower, but we'll put it right in the middle because I guess some people still take the skin off, so we'll take an average. But anyway, that's my tier list for vegetables. Let me know what you think. I tried to keep it a little bit based on multiple factors. So, for example, if you're trying to lose weight, this tier list is going to look a little bit different for you, but as far as just nutrition as a whole goes, this is kind of what I would align with. But let me know your thoughts anyway, and I hope you enjoyed. And again, stay tuned for that thylakoid video, because it's going to be out the one after this. So, Hope you enjoyed. See you next time.